Hey, this is Dan, and this is Freedom Bus Chronicles. I'm so glad to talk to you today and share with you a little bit more about our story of how we became free and how we got on this road to freedom. The first thing I wanted to say is that you can be set up for success yourself. And what I mean by that is that you don't have to have any particular talents. We all have talents that are really buried in us. They're just not been brought to the light yet. And so, if you think that you don't have any talents, let me assure you, you do, and you are made in the image of God. And surely we have talents that have maybe been laying dormant for many years that you haven't even discovered yet. And so, I want to encourage you that you already have talents. You are set up for, you can be set up for success uh, in life. And as far as freedom is concerned, God can make you free. So the first thing I wanted to mention is the fact that I wanted to tell you about a place that we sold in Worthing, South Dakota. We bought the place, and I'm going to tell you how much it was and what we sold it for. Not to brag or say that I am some kind of great house flipper, because I'm not, and I'm not a carpenter. But I guess I can get by if I have to. Yeah, but if I am able to do any of these things, God has given me the ability to do that. So what we did was we bought this place for $12,000, and we ended up putting a lot of work into it. We put a new roof on it. We completely remodeled the interior, all new plumbing, all new electrical, windows, doors, flooring, the whole works, the whole 9 yards. Really went after it, and it was a major cleanup along with all the other work that we had to do on it. But it turned out well, and we sold it for $82,000. And so I just give God all the glory for that, because my family members know this is Dan, right? This is the Dan Scheidler, the one that we're related to. He bought a house for $12,000 and sold it for $82,000. Yeah, that's me. It's me. And 35, well, a number of years ago, when I turned to God, it was I guess I was about 30, 32 or 33 years old, somewhere in there. I began to serve the Lord, and boy, back then, prior to then, it was pretty hard to see any talent in there in my life. And I guess God is, if I could do anything now, it's what He's done in my life. The evidence that God has been in my life is what I've been able to do through Him. And so, but God set me up. He set my wife up for success. We bought that property with no intentions of selling it, and it just turned out that way. That, and I think God just wanted us to move on from that property. We did do some ministry work in the area, and we did have a limited number of people that turned to the Lord, and I guess we did see some success in that. But it was all God working on our behalf. I mean, it was Him all the way. And so the wonderful thing about selling that property was that it was sold to the people that lived across the street from us. directly across the street from us. And they told their realtor, before our house was even listed, they said, if that yellow house across the street ever comes up for sale, we want it. And, you know, how can you fail? How can you fail when God sets you up for success? You know, to have a party interested in the house even before it goes on the market, and to tell their realtor, we want this house. If this goes up for sale, we want it. And so we did eventually put the house up for sale. And I think it was the next day. It was only a day or two, not long. And got a call from the realtor. I have an offer on your house. And we said, well, that's great. But he said, hold on, because I think I have another bidder, and we'll see if we can get you some more money. So I thought, well, that's great, fantastic. So my wife and I were waiting for the phone call, and it was 9 or 10 at night, and the realtor called us back and said, hey, I got an offer for you, and it's more than what we listed for, and it was, we were shocked that we could even get near what we got for the house. And so there was a little bidding war that ended, and we ended up selling the house for far more than what we dreamed we could. And that's just God working on our behalf. Not that we're good enough to receive the blessings of God. That's not the case. But God is full of mercy. He loves us. He loved us. And he still loves us, and he's still helping us. And so that's what happened with us. I just want to relate to you what he's done in our life, how God has helped us along the way. And so we sold that house because, well, for one thing, we were in debt. I wanted to get out of debt. We were coming towards retirement. So we sold that place and looked for another little place. I was thinking, a place that's small enough, cheap to own, maybe low maintenance and, low taxes, that type of thing. We're getting ready for retirement. So I thought, well, I'll look for a little property. And I found one in Madison, South Dakota. Nice little place, but it was pretty run down. And the price was right. Of course, there was a lot of people that looked at it and walked by because it needed a lot of work. And fortunately for my wife and I, we were able to have the vision to see what it could be. And it makes me think of what God says, behold, I make all things new. And that's what he can do in our life. And that's kind of what we did it. We brought that little house back to life, We worked on it, and not as much work as last house that we sold, but this one definitely needed some, sprucing up. We did all that, painted it, put some windows and doors in it. Windows, no doors, just windows. And fixed the garage up, re-roofed that, and painted that, and just spruced the yard up. And we really turned a excellent profit on that. And again, this does not reflect me being a great carpenter. It's not me being a great house flipper. I had no intentions of flipping that one or selling that one, but it just that's what God did for us. And I guess, when I think about it, we're just kind of along for the ride, and wherever God takes us, that's where he takes us. And that's great with me. So we enjoyed the house in Worthing, and we really were happy to get it. We were happy to fix it up. We were happy there. And, but, I guess for me, I'm just, it was a fond memory, and I don't really miss the place, but I was happy to have it while I had it. And so we moved on to Madison, South Dakota, and we bought that little place. We loved it, and kind of made it our own, and made it pleasant to live in. And so this is what happened in that story. We listed the property. On the very same day, we had 2 offers come in. One was a VHA loan that was greater than the other offer, but that was a VHA loan, so that could have went south pretty quickly. Sometimes that happens with those. We got another offer for a little more than what it listed for. And this one was purchased sight unseen without inspection. Now, if you know anything about real estate, that is a dream come true. I mean, no inspections, and get this. The woman had the cash to buy the property. And so you can't find a better real estate deal than that. I don't care how you do it. If you find a cash buyer, and you find somebody that doesn't want to do inspections and just takes it right as it is, and there was nothing really wrong with it. I mean, it needed a new heating and cooling system. That's it. It did need that, but it was all rewired. The plumbing was good in it. The roof was good on it. Mechanically, it was sound, and but it did need the new furnace and cooling system. So, but this woman was undaunted. She charged right in there. It used to be her grandmother's house, and she heard that it was up for sale, and she saw the pictures on the internet, and she just dove into it. She just dove into it, and she wanted it. And so what a blessing again. Had a wonderful profit on that, and it's not me that's doing this. I'm telling you, that was not my intention to sell this house. But I think that God was just helping us to increase our income, and that's just how it turned out. I really didn't want to be a house flipper, and I didn't make a fortune, but we did pretty good for amateurs, a real amateur. I think we did really well, and I attribute that to God. I believe it was His plan all along, and so, man, I'm glad to go along for the ride. I'm just glad to go along for the ride. I'm happy to be part of what God is doing, and I'm thrilled to think that He's helping me, and He prepared me to get to the place where I could be free. And really free. I mean, when you don't have any debt, you're free. You can do what you please. You don't have this burden hanging over your shoulder. And so, I mean, in the first place, God prepared the hearts of these people. They wanted the house before it was even listed. In the second place, this woman came in and bought the place. No inspections, cash buyer, the best real estate scenario a seller could ever hope for, and that's what we had. And so, I mean, I am just grateful for what God has done for me and my family, and I sure don't deserve what God has done for me. I don't deserve what He's done. I'm not worthy of it. But God is full of mercy, full of love, and He'll do the same thing for you. He'll put you on the road to freedom, and He will free you up. But you have to seek it. You have to seek God and talk to Him and say, God, I want to be free in this life. I want to be free from the way that the world does things. The world is deeply in debt. And they say you have to have this new dependable car, and you have to have this certain type of house, and you have to be able to do this, and you have to be able to do that. But people are in debt so deeply. They're one paycheck away from disaster. And you really do not want to live your life like that, do you? I mean, wouldn't it be better to have a little money in reserve and enough to pay your bills and a little bit in reserve to take care of some emergency that might come up? When you understand the necessity for all that, you can begin to take steps in your life to make it happen, and God will help you to do that. I'm not talking about being a money hoarder. I'm talking about just being sensible with your money. Kind of like the great generation of people that came out of the people that were a World War II era generation. They knew that you needed to save and keep your money and don't spend what you don't have. And today, it's easy to be in debt. It's easy to get debt. It's easy to go out and buy a brand new car with hardly any money or no money down. It's ridiculous how easily you can go into debt, but it's horrible. It's terrible how hard it is to get out of debt. But if you do that, if you make the mistake of getting deeply in debt, He'll bail you out. He'll help you to get out. He wants you to be free. And the world system, this whole world system is set up for you to fail. Here's an example. The other day we got a little capsule, a little round cylinder in the mail, and in that cylinder there was a key. And with the key came an invitation to come to a local car dealer. And if your key fit this car, and if it turned on, you could win the car. Well, let me tell you, the odds of you winning that car are slim to none. And really all that is a way to get you in debt, to pull you into a car payment. And they don't care if you can afford it or not. When you're young, you think, well, I can get more work, or I can do this. I can, scrape the money up somehow. And really when it's not even in your grasp, but you think, and the car dealers will say, oh, that's, you can make this payment easy and blah, blah, blah. They don't care about how far in debt you are. They don't care about feeding your family. They don't care if you're one paycheck away from disaster. They don't care. They'll give you the money, but then you'll have to pay the car off. And my neighbor bought a car like that, and the guy only made a few payments on it and decided, hey, I can't make the payments on this. That's too much money. And so he bought that. He paid cash for the car, which is wise. And, there's, you just got to seek God for freedom. Seek God and have Him show you a way out of the world system, the way that the world does things. Freedom is not debt. Debt is not freedom. That is bondage. Freedom is the ability to come and go and do as you please. When you owe someone, that's going to keep you on the job that you hate. If you hate that job, you got to still keep showing up until that car is paid for. And they will take every penny back that you borrowed, and then some, because you're going to have to pay interest on it. So, but this whole world system is set up for you to fail. The bankers could care less if you can make the payments. The car dealers could care less if you could make the payments. And it used to be a little different than that. It used to be harder to get a loan. If you can believe what I'm saying, this was not always this way. Back in after World War II, the veterans had kind of a hard time even borrowing money. And the reason for that was because the bankers understood and knew that they couldn't afford to borrow a fortune and pay it off, because it wasn't logical to borrow money to people that that couldn't pay the loan off. If they didn't have enough income, they were bad risk, and the banks didn't want to borrow money like that. But today they will, though. And I think what we need to do is just sit down and analyze, what we can really afford in this life. What can I really pay for comfortably without putting myself in jeopardy or in a kind of a precarious situation where one little slip up or some little problem comes along and all of a sudden I can't pay my bills. I'm telling you, God will give you wisdom to figure all that out. He'll show you how to make money. He'll show you how to keep your money. And even somebody like me, God's been able to help me in some of those areas, and I'm not perfect, but I'm doing a lot better than I used to. and it's all because I've been set free, not only financially but spiritually. And see how is it? How do you do it? What's the way? Jesus is the way. He's the way to financial freedom. He's the way to spiritual freedom. He's the way to live this life free. And he's the way to heaven. So, pretty important guy to speak to, pretty important person to talk to. And as one old friend of mine used to say, Jesus did it all for me. He's given me everything. And that's what he'll do for you. He'll give you everything in life that you need. And the most important thing is you need to be free. Get free. Get free. And get free from debt. Get free from a life maybe that if you're not living a life you think is right. And if you're not living a good life, God can show you a good way. And he can show you the way to freedom. So God bless you, and thank you so much for joining me in these on this journey to. I think we'll be here for a while. I'm not sure. I don't know what the future holds. I'm not going to say anymore because I've been here and there, and I'm just kind of along for the ride here, and wherever God wants to take me, I want to go, and I want to be free, and I want to do things for him along the way too. And so that's where the freedom's at, my friend. That's where the freedom's at. You live for God, and he'll do things. He'll do wonderful things in your life, things you never dreamed possible. He'll take you to places you've never been. He'll introduce you to good friends, and he'll make your life a good life. So, but I don't mean to be too preachy, but I just want to share with you what I know, and I want you to be free. My wife was excited about this channel too, and she was excited to help people become free, and just to share what God has done for us and how we became free, so that you might think about it yourself, dream about freedom and travel and excitement, and good things in life. Good things are ahead for you. So God bless you. Thank you so much for sharing this time with us. And so we'll talk to you next time. The Freedom Bus Chronicles, please subscribe if you would. Let us know you're out there. Add some comments if you would, and let us know if you have any questions. Please let us know about that. Let us know how your journey's going. Did you start a journey? Are you on a journey like us now to freedom? Have you obtained freedom? Let us know. So we'll see you next time. Take care.